everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Ask the Crown. I'm Elizabeth Seyfried, Miss United States 2014 and Miss World Americas 2015. I'm so excited to be introducing the 2015 class of Miss World America, who will be competing this summer in Washington, D.C. in July.
Hello, I'm Teresa Scanlan, and I'm Miss Nebraska World.
Tell us about where you're from and your family and your community.
So I'm from Gearing, Nebraska, which is in the panhandle of Nebraska, a pretty rural area. It's a small town, about 8,000 people. I've lived there since I was 3 years old, so it's definitely home for me. It's a great community and has really been a huge part of who I am. I get back there as often as I can now that I'm in school, and I absolutely love it. I'm also the middle child of 7 siblings, so being that forgotten middle child really, I think, contributed to who I am today. I'm extremely independent, really like doing my own thing, and I think that enabled each of us to become our own person and to be independent because there were so many kids. Growing up, we were best friends, still are. My sisters and I do everything together, and it was really great growing up in such a big, supportive, loving family. And I'm so blessed that even to this day, all of my siblings go along with all of the crazy things that I do every time I'm competing in another pageant or whatever other endeavor that I take on. My 3 sisters and I founded a nonprofit organization together and traveled to Haiti together, visiting orphans there. So my family is really a big part of my life, and they always support me in everything I do.
Tell us something about yourself that no one else knows.
So there's probably nothing in my life that no one knows, but here's something that actually very few people know. These shoes here don't really look like much. They're pretty old and beat up, and one of them has a heel cap missing and everything. But these are actually the shoes that I have worn for every single pageant I've competed in ever since I was 13 years old. So I am definitely a Nebraskan. I am my father's child, which means that if it's not broken, don't fix it. And you reuse things, and we really don't like throwing things away or wasting. So these shoes have traveled with me to 10 different pageants now, and Miss World America will be number 11 because, yes, I actually plan on wearing them one more time. And they've been with me since I was 13 with that very first pageant that I won. I can't say they're my good luck shoes because I've also lost pageants in them, but they're my favorite and I always wear them.
Knowing what you know now, if you could write a letter to yourself when you were young, what would you say?
You know, I think that my younger self really needed to know a couple things. First of all, I was very shy growing up and very self-conscious, and that contributed to a lot of problems my entire life. And so I think the primary lesson that I've learned now that I would want to share is that you are not responsible for other people. You are responsible to other people. I've learned as a title holder, as a speaker, as an advocate, and someone involved in service that yes, certainly we are responsible to other people to do our best, to put the effort in, all of those things. It's not to say that we get off the hook. However, we're not responsible for other people. We can't control them. We can't change them. We're not responsible for the actions of others. We're not responsible for what other people think of us. And I think that's the primary message that I needed to hear growing up, was that really what other people think of you is none of your business. It seems funny to say, but it's so true.
Tell us about your Beauty with a Purpose project and how you selected it.
And it is really the culmination of my life passion and a lot of the things that I've been involved with over the past, goodness, 5-10 years. First of all, mental health has been recently something that I have been really focused on, becoming a mental health advocate, and that stemmed from my own struggle with depression and anxiety. Now, physical health has certainly always been a huge passion of mine. Ever since way before I started competing, even in Miss America, eating disorders awareness was a huge project of mine and continues to be to this day, in addition to just focusing on physical health in general. We all know that obesity is a huge epidemic in our country and now across the world, and that's something that I have been and will continue to be fighting. Now, on the spirit side, I think that's a part part that's often neglected. When we're talking about having self-confidence, we're talking about how do we reach young people with the message that you're more than just your appearance. Your value does not lie in the size or shape of your body. Well, I think that the element that we often miss is service, serving others, nurturing your spirit. See, we are a mind-body-spirit union as people. We are not just a body, we are not just a mind. And our young people oftentimes are not getting that message, and it has created so many problems in the world today.
Knowing that Miss World is a community ambassador, tell us why you should be Miss World America.
Well, I believe that being a community ambassador really means that someone is in touch with and compassionate about the issues facing their community or their state or their country and across the world. And that is really what Miss World America and eventually Miss World should be, is someone who's knowledgeable about what's going on across the country and in the world at large. That is something that I have always hoped to do and always tried to do and will continue to always work on, is being knowledgeable and experienced in the real issues facing young people, people of all generations across the country, and really having a realistic understanding of that so that you are able to be compassionate, so that you're able to be understanding, and then really work towards solutions as well.
Tell us a fun fact.
Oh goodness, so two things immediately come to mind. One would be that I am a huge reader. I love collecting books. It's pretty much the only thing that I constantly collect, and I constantly buy books even when I don't have time to read them. And one of my bucket list items is to read every book that John C. Maxwell has authored. He is my favorite on leadership and service and all of those things, and so I've been working through a lot of his books, but I have many more to go. A second would be growing up the middle of the family with all of those siblings. It was kind of interesting because my sisters loved to put on plays and make movies and all of these things, but myself, being the middle child, of course, always got the worst roles possible. So I was always forced to do the job that nobody else wanted to do. So that meant in our rendition of Uncle Tom's Cabin, I had to be the slave girl who was actually hit in our rendition with a fly swatter. And when we put on plays about the Bible or about Jesus, I had to play Jesus, and my sister actually tied me to two brooms crisscrossed as the cross and marked me up with markers to look like I was beaten. So I always got these fun roles in all of our plays and movies growing up because, of course, I was the middle one, so I had to put up with it, and there was nothing I could do.
Thank you so much to everyone who let us interview them on Ask the Crown, and thank you to everyone for watching. I'm so excited to meet all the women in Washington, D.C. in July who will be competing for Miss World America.